The Little Giant. He was born free and always running through the woods, but there were many things that mistreated him, and another that much displeased him. Johnny was born healthy, beautiful, and always smiling, but with the pass of time he was growing different, and because of his height he was always crying. He was very tall, that sad boy. He would know later that that problem would be consistent in his childhood, and his time in the forest would not be so good. The other boys would bully him, the girls too, laughing at his height, not realizing how much the boy was suffering inside. That little giant still tried to keep up with his life, made plans that from that forest he would flee and find a beautiful wife. He was always by the river, lonely and alone. Unfortunately, that poor boy did not even have a friend to call his own. The years passed, and the little giant kept growing. He missed the joy of having any friends, so he cried every night without showing. He arrived in his teens, and his dream grew along with his sadness. So he decided to leave for the city, to leave the forest and to be happy. So for once in his life, he would not feel so helpless. Happiness he had never encountered during his childhood. Who knows, new friends and adventure in the city would find him, different from the people of the forest who always despised him. "Mother, I'm leaving," he said, saying goodbye. In the suitcase, a few belongings, and he left the woods on the ferry that was already standing by. He had dreams, plans, and also lots of hope. He was leaving behind all the sadness he had kept inside his heart as the boat began to depart. He had always seen in his little television that in the big city everything was completely different. He imagined skyscrapers, lots of cars, and people on the streets. He counted the hours on the ferry. He couldn't wait to arrive in the city. Tears rolled down his face, knowing that his mother would miss him. He continued traveling through the river, which he had planned for all those years. He was afraid, but also hoped the city would be as wonderful as on TV it appeared. Hours passed, and the ferry finally arrived. He felt joy, anxiety, curiosity, and also fear, and in that moment, all the bad feelings from his childhood started to disappear. The little giant continued his adventure, very excited to arrive in the big city. Differently from the forest, people did not stare at him in that place so busy. His height was not a problem. Finally, he felt equal. The city treated him like any other, and his heart felt glad and peaceful. He began his new life happily in the city he had always dreamed about. He was living all the experiences he had dreamed for years, so happy he could shout out loud. Years passed, and today that little giant boy is a happy man. It was in a big city that he did everything that he ever wished and dreamt about. He made new friends, and because of his height, people admired him. He made a happy family with a beautiful wife and children who loved him. He became famous for his size. He gained respect and consideration. He became the most important basketball player in his team, and for that, he received lots of appreciation. He returned to the woods. He wanted to see his mother he missed so much. He always wanted to see his father and little brother that he always kept in touch. He was received with a big party. After all, he became very famous in the big city, and those children who laughed at him prepared a big welcome sign that made him very proud. This is the life story of a great little giant who teaches us that even when we fall down, we have to stand up and always move on. And even the people that may have laughed at you might be different tomorrow too. It will depend on you and the examples you give. Even when you feel hurt, you should always try to forgive. Treat everyone with respect, love, and consideration. The little giant was our example of bravery and determination. Now I'll say my goodbye as the story has ended. But if you want to hear more, please stay in touch and subscribe down below. I enjoy reading comments and the likes from you all.